Hey folks, it's time for TWiP PRO Photo Critique number 52. This is TWiP. Hey, welcome back to another This Week in Photo or TWiP PRO Photo Critique. This is episode number 52, and I'm here once again with my good friend, partner in crime, Mr. Troy Miller, to talk through some of the few submissions that we have to the community, man.
Less than 100.
Less than 100. Are you tempting the fates? You want to get up to 100? Well, we're joshing. We're joking around because we have another record-breaking number of submissions for critique this week. I think we're up to 26, something like that.
Yeah, 25 actually, because one's a duplicate. But yeah,
25. Yeah, well, 25 still. Wow, that's pretty good. Keep them coming, people. Keep them coming. Troy loves doing this. So no, we do love doing it.
We're like, what's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
Yeah, I know. No, this is good. Well, and with that, since we have so many to go through, I think it's time to dive in. What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go dive right in here. Let's bring up the screen here. So we are in TWiP PRO now. And let's just start at the top. Tim Engel. All right. Tim says, made a group outing at the Auto Museum in Sacramento. The light was from 2 LED spots at the back of the car. Look at that. That could be at any time. Please don't say you want this to be black and white, Troy Miller.
No, not this one.
No? Good.
Although it would look good.
Well, now that you mention it.
Well, it's almost monochromatic already. I mean, it's mostly, red tones. So it's kind of doing that same thing, though. I mean, black and white is just removing all the additional colors. You can do a monochromatic with a single tone like this. So it works. Yeah, this is cool. I always love to see how Tim handles light, how he uses that.
Yeah. Yeah. I love to see Tim doing the stuff like this because he seems to be doing more concept art. Like this one is, this one's telling a story. So this could be, in my head, someone's following her. I mean, maybe this is a horror story. There's a truck back there that she can't get off her tail. It's tailgating. And, she's the damsel in distress, if you would. So that I kind of like the idea of being able to build a story around photographs versus, oh, pretty girl. Okay, next.
Yeah. No, this is really nice. I mean, I like how the light is masking her face. I think it would be cool if it was a little bit narrower. But that's going to be the condition of the mirror, right? Like how much that's reflecting. I also like the light source in her eyes. So it looks like there's headlights coming at her as well.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It sure does. Very good. Tim Engel, good work, man. Very cool. All right.
Just waiting for the day when Tim enters an image and we can be like, no, this can't be Tim's. This is so bad.
Yeah, I know. It's horrible. What was he thinking? Here's Kai Gradert, or Gradert. Sorry, Kai. Kai, you got to let us know. You probably told me in the comments and I just overlooked it. But the correct pronunciation of your last name, what is it? But this shot is Buttery Winter Sky. Look at that.
See, that makes me want to go out by Whitewater where we are by Palm Springs and shoot. There's windmills out there. I've been wanting to chase the full moon out there for a long time, but I like this.
Yeah, there's some I mean, you could drive it almost in any direction and find them in California now. They're sprouting up like weeds around here. So
Right.
What's interesting about those windmills is they are, I don't know which ones he's looking at, but they're gigantic.
Yeah.
Those things are ridiculously huge. Like one blade of the 3 blades takes 2 semi-trailers to just move it.
Yeah, it does.
So keep that in mind, people, as you look at these windmills that look tiny and minuscule over there. Those are probably gigantic, bigger than your house.
Yeah. This is really nice, Kai. I mean, I love the minimalism that he's using here, and a lot of his images have this minimalistic approach, which I just love. It tells a story. You don't have to have a lot in it. And I'll tell you a trick: if you're going to enter competition, less is more. The less you have in the image, the less the judges can nitpick it, right? So very intentional. We don't have blown highlights at the horizon. The windmills aren't clipped off at the end, right? There's a clean space.
Yeah.
The moon is on a third. That's just, the windmills are on a third, creates this nice viewing triangle. That's just sweet.
Yeah, even the dip of the ground dips down into where the sun had just set probably a couple minutes earlier, right? So, yeah, and I love the color palette too.
Yeah,
nice.
This type of image would do very well in a state or national or even local level competition.
Very cool. Awesome. Kai, thank you for this. All right, and moving right along. Trey Nelson is in the house. Trey says, taken with the Sony A7R and the Zeiss Contex Yashica 100, I'm assuming F2. Let's take a look at this. Wow. Is that real? It looks like a diorama. It looks like a diorama or something you'd see in the zoo.
Yeah. Did Freddie put this together? Is this one of Freddie?
Right? Is there a T-Rex in there somewhere?
Just on the other side of the horizon, right? Yeah. Right there. They're coming this way.
Exactly. No, this is cool. So what are your thoughts on this one? You're going to say something about the grass obstructing the eye and the elk standing up, right?
No. I actually like that. I think what distracts me the most, and you probably couldn't do anything about it when you were photographing it, is the tree. I wish the tree wasn't there. It would be easy to remove because I think that what it's doing is it's acting as a primary subject. It's distracting from the space. Mm-hmm. So if that tree was gone, immediately it would be nothing but the animals and then the grass. I think that would be really nice.
Yeah, I agree. And these aren't elk. What are these? These are what kind of animal are these?
Those kind?
Those ones?
Those ones?
What are they? These are the ones that the lions chase all the time. Antelope? Maybe, yeah. Maybe
I don't know.
Antelope.
We're just showing how little we know about animals.
You're so bad. You're so urban. Yeah, well, someone will tell us.
And then, Trey, you got a little dust spot right there in the top center.
Where? Oh, yeah, I see it right there, yeah. Yeah, that's easily cloned out. Yeah, there's a couple in there, I see. Off to the left there, the left of the tree. And above the tree. Yep, those are easily taken out, especially in that blue swath of space. Very cool. All right, moving right along. Laura Patton. Catholic school boys on the first day of high school. I think they were too scared to even notice that someone was standing just a few feet in front of them with a camera. Wow. What are they scared of?
The priest? The nuns?
The clergy. The clergy. They have superpowers. No, this is cool. Look at this. I mean, look at the background. It's just, hey, you feel like you're in the presence of culture at the very least. You could say religion, but you're definitely in the presence of sculpted culture. And obviously these young kids with the crosses on their lapels, it goes on to tell the story. I kind of dig it. I dig this.
Right.
Yeah. I don't see fear in their faces though. They're paying attention. They don't look very scared to me though. They just look like they'd rather be playing PlayStation, but
Yeah. They're being respectful, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I love the fact that the three hands from the primary three boys are in the frame and they're not cropped off. I think that's really nice and intentional. And I think because it's part of their body, it's part of the image that is their body, right? It's not just part of their body, but it's part of the entire image. It's how relaxed they are. If you look at the gentleman far left, he's clenching his hands.
Yeah.
But the guy in the middle's not. He's chill. The guy on the right, far right, camera right, I don't really know, but he looks more relaxed. So there's a story in those hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it looks a little processed. It looks like it was run through some kind of filter. Some of the shadowing on the hands and the softening of the skin looks a little bit unnatural to me, but that's hard to say because it could be Mighty playing with the image.
It could be Mighty Networks. Yeah. Yeah. It does have a little bit of a kind of a little toe into the HDR
right
sort of feel. But yeah, I dig it. Storytelling. See, another one. Telling a story in the images. Love it.
Yeah.
Armando Bruck's up next. Armando says, for the last 3 years, one of the credentialed photographers for the Sao Paulo Carnival. The girl in the photo is one of the drum queens in 4 nights of parades. I took around 15,000 photos. Jeez. He shot this with his at 70 millimeter f4, 1/125th of a second ISO 640 with flash over the camera. Wow, look at the detail in that. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's really neat. These are very photojournalistic. So just the cropping and the centering and the composition, it all works so great in here. The fact her eyes are in focus and there's light interface.
Yeah,
it tells a story. I mean, it's a win.
Yeah. And this is one of those instances because, a lot of times pros will tell other people that you don't want direct flash right on the camera, right above the lens, right? Because that gives you harsh lighting. In this situation, I think it's perfect, right? I mean, because you want to illuminate the scene. There's so much detail that you want to light that, it's kind of, I think it would be doing a disservice to the image to try to do something soft or whatever. You agree with that?
I do, absolutely, yeah. On-camera flash is the least ideal, but it's all about the situation. You can't have an off-camera strobe here in a soft box and all that kind of stuff. So this is the most ideal for this situation. So it's perfect, and it throws a little bit of light in there. And if you balance it appropriately, which he did, because you can see the edge light off her left arm, it's not overpowering. That strobe is simply filling the shadows so that they don't go dark.
Yep.
And that's awesome. That's how you use light.
Yep. Just a little bit of pop. Very nice. Very cool. I so want to go to that. Don't you want to go to Carnival? Don't you want to?
I kind of do.
Yeah. Right. I want to go there. Okay. Next up is from Craig Stanfley, Stradbroke Island iPhone photo. Look at this. All right.
Cool.
Let's bring that right up there. Look at Craig showing what you can do with an iPhone. You can do a lot with an iPhone, right?
You can do everything with an iPhone that you can do with your DSLR, just about. I mean, the chip that's in the phones today are better than the digital cameras that I started with.
For sure. And at the very least, exponentially smarter, right? With the post-processing computational photography. Yeah, and looking at this, I haven't even read the Beach Report yet, but looking at it, I just love, if you blow your eyes and look at it, you just see 3, maybe 4 swaths of color, right? You see the sky, and he didn't bisect it with the horizon. Kudos. You see the sand, and then you see the big yellow Beach Report sign with another swash of black in there. So that's that's pretty cool. What does that say? Conditions beautiful, dry for a swim. However, please be aware of blue bottles. Huh.
Oh, I think those are jellyfish.
Oh, I hope it's not those box jellies. Those things tend to be poisonous.
Yeah, because they're talking about stingers and actors that actively supervise your kid. Really, that's really cool. Yeah,
I'm not going anywhere.
I didn't know I could
water.
read Australian.
What, you didn't think you could read Australian? Yeah, it's hard. It's acquired skill. But just keep at it. You'll get it. What did you think of the composition? You agree with my sort of 3 swaths of color?
I do.
Commentary?
No, it's really nice. It's a nice little abstracty thing. I mean, whether you read the sign or not, it tells a story. You know immediately that you're at the beach. You can see it even if you don't read the sign, and that's what photos are all about, right? They're there to tell stories, bring us in. The rules of composition are functioning here fantastically well to enhance the story. So yeah, this is great.
Yep. Very nice.
He can get rid of all his other gear. Just use his iPhone.
Why not? I mean, but it doesn't have to be an either or, right? You could just, if you want to go to the beach and enjoy yourself, bring your iPhone only and snap some cool shots.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree.
All right.
And there's no dust spots on an iPhone usually, so.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess that's true, right? Because you're not really
it's sealed.
Yeah, you're right.
If you got dust spots,
You got other issues.
yeah.
All right, Michael Rhino submitted this image. The temperature was 5 degrees with a breeze one morning this past week at Bryce Canyon. I want to go there. I decided to brave the cold and get out of my car to catch this photo. He shot it with his Nikon D850 at Tamron 15 to 30 set at 16 millimeter. Shutter was 1/8 of a second at f/22. ISO was 64. Get this, bring that right up here. Some of these images load slowly. Still trying to load this image. Let's try again.
Yeah, mine loaded, so it should load.
Did it? Huh, maybe it's me. Maybe you were loading it at the same time. You screwed me up. All right. I'm going to try one more time, and then I'm going to... There we go. Okay, I got it. Okay, so Bryce Canyon. Are you old enough to remember there's a piece of software from Kai's Power Tools or Meta Creations called KPT Bryce? You remember that?
I do. Yeah.
It used to make landscapes like this.
Yep.
Not quite like this, but it would make a good effort at making something like this, right?
Yeah.
And you could just drag and drop mountains and put snow in there and all kinds of stuff, and it would just render it. It would take forever to render, but it would render it.
Yeah, render a 640 by 480.
Exactly.
Take like a day and a half.
Yeah, and there was no social media back then, so it was like, oh, look what I made. And then,
Nobody knew. You were just proud.
Exactly. That's why Bryce needs to come back. What do you think? What do you think of the shot? Landscape, right?
Yeah, this is really nice. I like the leading line of the shadows in the foreground as it leads us out to the right corner. The horizon is fantastic. I wish we had a little bit more sun. You know, I if I was shooting it, or if I had a choice, I would crop to the left of the tree in the bottom and try and include more of the sun. But sometimes if this is on an outlook, you just, you can't get what you want.
Yeah, you got to get what nature gives you.
Yeah, yeah. And it feels slightly pushed for me, like the colors, but I hate to say that because we don't know what Mighty's doing to the image. But compositionally and stuff, the blue, you've got these layers of tones. You got the sky, a blue, and then an orange layer, and then you got that blue shadowy layer in the middle, and then you got the nice orange sun hitting the snow. I think that's great. Anytime you can create sandwiches of color or tones.
Yep. Yeah. Sandwiches of color and tones that sort of mirror the strata in the rocks too. So, because those are sandwiched as well. So,
yeah, this is true. Yeah. No,
love it.
I want to be there.
I totally want to be there. I don't know. I mean,
I've been there. It's very cool. It's very easy to see.
Really?
Yeah. Most of the stuff you'll see from Bryce is all from turnouts. So you can just drive. There's 3 turnouts. You just pull over and.
Oh, that sounds like a road trip. Yeah. All right. James Glennie's up next. James says, a reminder to review the images on your cards before you format them. I found this in a bunch of photos that somehow I forgot to copy off one of my memory cards taken last September. I was out to format the card again, and I always spin through the photos on it just out of habit, and I discovered a bunch that I wasn't sure I had seen in Lightroom. Sure enough, a whole batch of photos I missed copying over. I'm very glad I didn't lose this lovely sunset shot, among others. He shot this with his Canon 6D 24-105 f4L IS image stabilized lens at 35 millimeter, 1/60th of a second f4 ISO 100. Let's bring that baby up.
Yeah, good save, James. I for my weddings, I always take the card out, I label it, and then I put it in a little tub. And then before I format it, I always open that card up and make sure that every image has been moved over.
Just a double, triple, quadruple check. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And in what 15, 18 years of shooting digital, I maybe have found images twice. And they weren't jaw breaking kind of things like, oh my gosh, I'm glad I found this. It's more like a little section, but that just shows that accidents happen.
Yeah, especially when humans are involved, right? So
right.
So what do you think about this? I know you're going to say something about the horizon going through the middle, and you'd either want to take some off the top or off the bottom. But what do you think?
I'm looking at that right now, and I'm thinking that, the split in the middle is kind of cool. It creates sort of a butterfly effect, where you see this, the wings of the butterfly, top and bottom, and the body and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I see a butterfly anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I would either crop it to keep it a landscape so I don't see as much of the bottom, because I like the sky with a little bit of reflection, or I would mess with people's minds and I would rotate it vertically.
Oh.
And go with that, and just, rotate it vertically by rotating it clockwise or counterclockwise. Either way, I think it's a neat abstract.
I agree with you. I don't agree with it being a butterfly. I think this is more of a fiery phoenix. That's what it looks like.
It actually looks like a big axe. If you.
Oh yeah, it could be an axe. Yeah. Fire. Let's split the difference. It's a fiery axe.
Okay. Yes. There we go.
It's an axe on fire that's been heating up.
That's more sci-fi for us right there too.
Yeah. Very cool. Love it.
Good save, James.
All right. Next up, Eric Joseph. Eric says, going to try this again. For some reason, it didn't look sharp yesterday after upgrading to Mighty Networks. Yeah, Mighty does some unknown stuff behind the scenes to images. Compression mostly. Even though this file is sharp on my system, still the rocks don't appear as sharp in full size, 1200 pics long and full 300 DPI, 100 quality on JPEG. He captured this in Minnewaska State Park in the Catskill region of upstate New York. Fujifilm X-T3 16mm 1.4 at f14, ISO 160, 15 seconds on the shutter. And he processed this baby in Luminar 3 after making a TIFF in On1 Photo Raw 2019, since Luminar doesn't support the T3 yet. All right, let's take a look. Look at that. Okay, I like this.
This is really cool.
I really like the uniformity of it. I like the horizontal, again, the strata in the rocks. I like that horizontal sort of, this was built up over time feel. And I really like the long exposure, making that water almost ghostly.
Right.
Sometimes people will do a fast shutter, which is fine. You see the water splashing and all that. And sometimes they'll do just enough for you to see the motion of the water, but he pushed it to the far edge, and the water is almost, mist or smoke or something. I really like that. That's cool. What do you think?
It's very translucent. No, I like that a lot. Anytime that I shoot waterfalls or anything with motion, I always try to do 3 separate types of image with that. One is sort of a quicker shot so you can stop the motion. One is, you show a little bit of motion, and then one's the extreme like this that just turns everything to mist.
Yeah.
I love that. I would. I'm not going to say convert it to black and white because that's obvious. I would I would burn in the lower left-hand area of rocks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think those need to come down a little bit. And I would probably crop off a little bit of the left side. Not a lot, just a little bit to get the waterfall out a little bit further away from center. I think it would feel better if the left side was a little bit tighter, and maybe 10%, 15% of the entire image, but not much more than that.
Okay. Yeah, I'd buy that. Yeah, I knew that black and white comment was coming. I was waiting.
I didn't say.
I set a timer. I was waiting. You made it 10 seconds. No.
I didn't say it should be converted to black and white. I didn't say that.
You did not. But it could. You're right. Totally could. Well, I dig it. All right. Diving right in.
Oh.
What?
It's Freddy's stuff.
Oh, Freddie Sedano's next. Yeah. Let's see. What did Freddie say? All hail our new media overlords, ISO 50. I'm going to let you guys read what he said. Actually, let me read it because this is pertinent. This was an experimental shot originally shot in black and white, but it was very esoteric. By adding color, I pivoted and decided to bootstrap a concept. It's kind of vague, but here it goes.
And I got it immediately, dude. Those are weeping angels. That's exactly what that is. That's from Doctor Who.
Oh, okay. He says the color TV invokes new technology and emerging media. The shadowy figure is almost a big brother, but is also the same shape as a figure emerging from the smoke. The faceless minifigures are under the influence of the screen and being drawn to it. Freddie, you... Where it falls apart is the figure coming out of the smoke is a weeping angel from Doctor Who. If you don't watch the show, you wouldn't know that it is an apex predator alien life form. This scene is a hunting trap. Without the title, my message evaporates. I don't think I was very successful. I want to get better at conveying cohesive message in one image. Wow.
So because I'm a hyper geek and I'm a hyper hooligan, so I totally got this in what episode this was from on Doctor Who, because the Weeping Angels are one of the scariest TV creatures of all time. Look them up. Watch an episode. Watch a snippet on like YouTube of Weeping Angels. I'm not going to ruin it for you. They're scary as crap.
Weeping Angels from Doctor Who. That's your Google phrase. Okay.
Yeah,
Weeping
Angels from Doctor Who.
And
yeah.
I just want to draw a circle around, or as we say in Silicon Valley, I want to put a pin in the fact that you just said you are a hooligan. And I'm assuming that means a Doctor Who fan, and hooligans like Trekkies are people that like that show. So you're
Trekkers, not Trekkies. Yeah.
Oh, Trek.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Is it Trekkers?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm really not that.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. See, another layer of the Troy Miller onion has been exposed.
Well, I do have a TARDIS on my desk, and I do have a sonic screwdriver. So
wow. All right. I was going to say it's a good thing that you are married already.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But I do want to say to Freddie on this image, the concept is really cool. But when we're shooting small objects like this, you got to think about, like, if those were real size people, where would you be? What perspective would you take? The chances are you wouldn't take this perspective because it doesn't show any depth. If you were behind shooting through the fog, obscuring them, a little bit of TV, silhouetting them against the TV, those kind of things you would be doing in real world. So I think that would help sell your concept.
There you go. I tend to agree with that. I need to watch some Doctor Who, man. I feel like I'm really missing out on things with not watching Doctor Who.
Yeah. Some of the best sci-fi.
Yeah, I tried to get into it once or twice, and for some reason, it just didn't stick. It doesn't stick to me like Star Trek does.
No, first season or two is corny. You got to kind of get past it, and then you're in.
Well, Star Trek Discovery. Have you watched that season?
Yep. Yeah, I dig it.
Oh, are you on season 2?
No, I got to wait until it comes out on free.
Oh no, yeah, no, it's still. I buckled up. I'm a real sci-fi Star Trek fan, man. Come on. No, let me read this. This is from Trey Nelson. Checkers, Sony A77 with a 7200 f2.8G lens. Susa, Dominican Republic. Look at that. That is detailed grit right there, man. Look at that.
Bottle caps? Is that what those are? Those look like bottle caps.
They do. Or yeah, some kind of, yeah, those, now that you say that, absolutely. Why not? Right? Why not?
I just love everything about this image. I mean, the storytelling, it looks like they're playing a fast game, right? Both of their hands are on the board. They're, to nitpick, I would love to have seen the moment that they lifted a piece off the board or, slid it out of the square kind of thing. So it didn't feel like, it felt like they were in movement, right?
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I love this image too. I don't have anything negative to say about it. I love it. But I did think when I look at these, I always try to put the beanie on and the glasses on, and I try to channel Troy Miller. And when I was channeling you on this one, the nitpick that came to mind was that hot spot in the top. Would you have cloned the little circular thing out?
Yeah. You could actually crop it if you wanted to.
Yep.
Yeah.
See?
And then what's the other? There's one more small thing.
Let's see. I'm gonna look at the image in its entirety here. I know what it is. The other hand, right?
I know I'm okay. I'm okay with the other hand. It makes me a little uneasy, but this image has been pushed a little far with either clarity or dehaze or something like that. And so the gentleman on the top left-hand corner on the edge of his shirt, you can see a halo is forming around his shirt, and that's a clear indicator that it's been pushed pretty far.
I missed it. I missed that. Yep. All right, but you're okay with that hand, huh? Wow.
It's I see this as photojournalistic.
Yeah.
I see this as more storytelling. So the hand is from the person that's in there playing, and I actually think that it adds to the image as opposed to this detached single arm kind of floating in there. So
yeah,
it's not how I would shoot the portrait if I was creating the shot, but I'm good with it. Yeah, no, it's all part of the story.
Yep. All right, very cool.
Well done, Trey.
Yep, Trey Nelson rocking it. Thank you, sir.
I'm making a left turn.
This image was created during the 2018 Calistoga half mile of Shayna Texter aboard the Husky 45 during the singles race. And this is from Mike Doran. He says he used a Canon 1DX 7200 2.8 L lens, 2 ISO 800 5.6 at 400. I'm going to say 400th of a sec, 400 sec. I don't know what you're saying. This image was part of a story I wrote for today's cycle coverage. All right, let's bring that up. There's that lean, man. There is that lean.
Yeah, that's great. In this one, I love the fact that it's dead center. I really do.
Because he's flying through the frame, right?
Yeah. I could see this being like on a video, right? Like this is where the video paused, and he's gonna come through and disappear out the camera left.
Yeah. Doesn't make these, looking at these, doesn't this make you want to go like dust off your bike and get out there?
Every time. And it's riding season right now. So yeah, it's nice.
What are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? Come on.
I'm here doing critiques with 25 images.
I love it. Come on. You got a TARDIS back there. You could be in two places at once.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Mike, thank you for that. Mike's so good. Thomas Aaron says, Dolphin off the coast of Fort Myers. It was pretty difficult to get the shot. They breached so fast with virtually no warning. Most of my shots were just a fin or tail taken from a boat banging on the water. This is 5D Mark III, ISO 400, f3.5, 70 millimeter. Shutter speed is 1/3200th of a second. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. Yes, that is true. That is true. And look at this. He got the eye and everything in there. Look at that beautiful creature.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice. Yeah, these are tough. These are really tough to get. And so when you see, good shots of whales breaching and dolphins and stuff, you realize like it's not easy to get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I still have a what do you call it? I have a bone to pick with these mammals. I remember I was going through water survival training, and they dropped us out in the middle of the Panhandle in Florida for us to wait for an specified amount of time for them to come pick us up. They were supposed to simulate survival, and a bunch of these guys were out there with me, and I was alone, and they were just showing their fins. So I think they were doing it on purpose, because they would just, all you'd see is this fin pop up and then disappear. Then another one over there pop up and disappear. And I'm like, oh, really? This is how I'm going to go? Really?
Oh, man.
Yeah. But beautiful shot, though.
Well, Thomas, I'll challenge you a little bit. So when you're out there and you're shooting things like this, and this to me is the kind of shot that it's like, okay, I got a shot of him breaching. So now where is my storytelling image, right? Mm-hmm. Where is my big National Geographic front cover shot? And sometimes those never happen. So I don't know. I wasn't there, and I will never go out on a boat that's slapping on the water. That is not going to happen. So I'm just wondering, like, did you get any other shots, like big, spacious? What else? What else did the squirrel find?
Yeah. That's cool. I also learned that you're not going on boats. Is there water phobia? Yep. Come on.
No, it's a profusely upset stomach over the side of the boat that happens.
Man, I've had that. You do not want it. If you've had it, that I totally understand.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I can do cruise ships for the most part, but like small boats or fishing boats or
I've heard too many horror stories about cruise ships lately, man, and I'm afraid of those now too.
Yeah.
Jeff Anandison or Aniston. Jeff, tell me how to pronounce your name.
Yeah, we need help.
Anison. God, it's these letters. They kill me in these strange combinations. But Jeff says, here's a shot I took back in 2014 of a friend's son going for the win. It's a shot with his Nikon D800 Nikkor 80 to 200 millimeter at 80. This was ISO 1000 at 1/400th of a second. I knew Mike Dora was going to comment on this. He loves motorcycles.
Yeah.
Look at that. God, I'm so jealous. I wanted a bike like that so bad when I was a kid.
Yeah, no, these are so much fun. I love the fact that this kid's leaning into the handlebars like that. He's leaning forward, so he's accelerating. Mm-hmm. So he's really going into it. I think that's just fantastic.
Yep. And what's the control on the right? I haven't ridden in a while. Is that the clutch is on the right?
No, clutch is on the left.
Clutch is on the left. So he's about to grab for the brake then, right?
Yes. Yeah. Normally when you ride, you keep your two right fingers floating. So you throttle with your thumb and your your little finger and your ring finger. That's your throttle. That's how you hold the throttle. And then you can either use your index finger or those two fingers to grab the brake. So you can do them simultaneously.
Okay.
Yeah. So he may be reaching for the brake or he may just be hovering. That way you can grab the brake faster because the front brake does most of the braking, most of the stopping.
How old do you think this kid is?
Oh God, I don't know. 7, 8, maybe. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. I would mirror. Who was it? Like Mike Doran made a comment. I would say that if you shot this, in the raw, even not, take that JPEG and go back and put a linear gradient across the bottom and bring down that tone a little bit. It's just overexposed
down here
a
at
bit.
the bottom. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's been hit with a flash, so it's going to do that.
What about the horizontal line in there that's cutting the image off?
I would love for that to be gone, but
seems like it'd be relatively easy to pull out of there, right?
Yeah. This one would be really easy to do. Yeah.
Cool.
But moreover, it's the exposure.
It's the exposure. Yeah, it's like a stop and a half, 2 stops. Mm-hmm. Not too bad though. All right, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. I'm not gonna butcher your last name again.
Yeah. Look, and he's making a left turn. They're always making left turns.
Yeah. Let's move down. Here's another one from Mike. Mike says the racer Jason Herb aboard the Broadster Chicken sponsored Honda CBR 1000RR created with a Canon 1DX with a Sigma 15 to 600 millimeter at 600 ISO 200 f7.1 800th of a second. This image was edited in Capture One Pro 12.
Hear the crowd in the background.
Yeah.
Yay!
Wait for it. And Photoshop CC 2019.
I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna.
If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. That's what my mom used to tell me.
That's right, and that's very smart.
Yep. Look at that. Look at that lean. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, this is sharp all the way through.
All the way. I'm looking for a non-sharp spot in here. I don't see one. I see some sensor dust in there, in the upper left. You see that?
Yeah.
It's easily corrected, but yeah, the shot is just all the way in. I can even see the writer's eye.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can. I didn't even see that. Yeah, and he's looking up actually. That's really great. Yeah, I'm just sort of looking through this whole image and it's so impressive to see this thing, knowing that how fast they're going and how much centrifugal force there is, in that lean, and he's looking way down that road and this is great timing.
You got to trust the physics, man, because that's like
Yeah.
That looks like some bones waiting to be broken right there. But you know, that bike sticks to the road, and G forces keep it right there. The gyroscopic forces keep it right there, right?
Yep. Yeah. It's got something like an inch or 2 inches a tire contact.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Great
Science.
shot, Mike.
Science.
Yeah.
All right. Mike, thank you for sharing that. Fantastic. Mike has such a treasure trove of shots. All right. Eric Joseph's up next. And Eric says, haven't done one of these in a while. Fujifilm X Pro 2 80mm macro ISO 640 1/600th of a second f4.5. This copy edited in Capture 112. Free version for Fujifilm. Look at that.
Oh, this is nice.
Look at that alien.
Really nice.
That's an alien. That's not a bug. That's an alien.
Oh, I know. I love butterflies. Butterflies are crazy. Butterflies and dragonflies. Oh my gosh.
Both of those things used to scare me when I was a kid. I'm just going to go on record and say that because I made the mistake of being too inquisitive and looking them up and seeing the big shot of what their faces look like with all the little stuff in there. And those things are alien. They're all aliens. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
They're beautiful, but they're aliens.
This is really great. My only thing that I would do is I would crop up from the bottom, get rid of some of that extra soft flower in the bottom. I don't think we need it, but I love the fact that there's a second butterfly in the background that's out of focus, and it's all in there, right? Like the wing is very close to the edge, but it's all in there. Mm-hmm. I think that's great. Great, tells a great story.
Yeah.
Good composition. I like that. Shallow depth of field. This is cool.
Yeah, I agree. Everything you said, I agree. Yeah, the only thing I was going to say is crop up from the bottom a little bit. Beautiful.
Dragonflies are fun because they are so fast. Yeah. So you got to shoot at like 8 frames a second. You got to track them. They're just crazy.
Yeah, they got 4 horsepower. Come on.
4 horsepower.
All right, Eric Joseph. Next one up is Thomas Aaron. And Thomas says, my first ever boudoir shot, iPhone only, all in camera, no post processing except for the X's for the X's for modesty reasons. Yes, I'm actually 49 years old. Lesson: don't drink whiskey while in TWiP Pro. You see my comment? My comment was, any feathers shown below the beak are morally unacceptable. Oh, look at that.
Oh my God. I just got to say, this is my favorite image of all time.
Because of the looks on the faces.
The comedy, I just think this is fantastic. This is so well done. And you know what? Here's the good part. Most people are not going to get it. And that's why it's funny.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
Well done, Thomas.
Very
keep drinking whiskey while you're on TWiP Pro.
Exactly. Come on.
We agree.
Exactly. And share some of that. No, this is cool. I love it. I love the look of it, like the bird on the right. Look at him. Mad dog in the camera.
Well, you know, something to be said too is that the image itself is good. I mean, it's a really good image. Composite is good. The action of the birds are good. The foot off the ground, the attitude. I mean, the grain. That's a great image, though. Yeah. It wouldn't have as much impact if it was a crappy image and then you did this. But it's a good image. It's a great image.
Yep.
So, way to go! Fine art right there. That is fine art. That should hang in a gallery.
There you go. Wow. Look at that. That's some high praise right there. I don't think I've heard you say that before. Look at that. All right. Thomas Aaron, you should be proud. You blew Troy Miller's beanie off.
It's good.
All right, moving down the line. Michael DeRay. And Michael says, another manual focus attempt. The setup is the same as the last photo, except the ISO was set 200. We're going in reverse chronological order, so we'll see that one in a second. The setup is the same as the last photo, except the ISO was set for 200 on this one.
Yeah. It's a great shot. I'm curious, Michael, why, are you just practicing to focus manually, or was there a reason why you were doing this manually?
Good question. I was curious about that too.
I don't know if it's, he didn't say in his previous image either. I mean, I've shot rodeo before, and manual focusing is nearly impossible. You have to predict where they're going to be, and then manual focus really does play in really well.
I mean, is it worth it? Like from an education standpoint, learning, and we talked about this briefly on TWiP, just the idea of when you're learning this stuff, does it make sense to push yourself and get as good as you could possibly get with manual focus and then turn on autofocus? Kind of like, learning how to drive a manual, or a regular 2-wheeled motorcycle before getting on a 3-wheeled motorcycle.
I think that you should know how to do everything your camera can do, whether it's manual focus or it's manual exposures. Manual is super important because sometimes the camera's just not going to grab focus, and you need to flip that switch, get it into manual, get your shot, and move on. So practice makes perfect. And so, yes, you should know how to do it. The reason I was asking about this situation is because they come out of that pen and they're moving. So manual focus and trying to track them is nearly impossible. So
yeah,
you got to have like manual focusing superpowers to be able to do that, Yeah.
And that's where technology comes in, right? I mean, technology helps us get shots that were next to or nearly impossible before. So,
right. But to speak to the image, it's a great image. I mean, it's great timing. The cowboy's face that's on the horse, that's really great. The guy in the background, they're fun. I mean, that's one of the best shots is right when they immediately come out of the gate.
Yeah. Even a little smile on the horse. See, the little horse is grinning down.
Yeah. All that guy does is he wants that strap off. That's all he wants.
Yep, that's right. Excellent. All right, Michael, thank you for that. Okay, let's look at the other shot that you submitted. Okay, he says, one of my attempts at manual focusing for action events, I used an OMD EM5 with an OM Zuiko 50 millimeter f1.8 shutter priority at 800 f2.8 ISO 400 raw converted in Lightroom. Look at that. I like this one even better.
Yeah, it's a great shot. Perfect timing. You got the horse in the air, which is fantastic. A peak of action is really important. You've got the guys watching. Nobody's really cut off. And your subject has a clean-ish back, which is great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the horse has air. The horse is just levitating in midair. So that's called a decisive moment if I ever saw one, right?
Yep. Yeah. This is a lot harder photography than most people think if you haven't shot it. Because they come out of those gates and they come out fast, and you don't know which direction they're going to go, which way they're going to go, whether they buck or not. You have no idea.
Yeah, which begs the question. Like you said, this seems like a purpose-built event for a high frame per second, continuous high with as smart of autofocus as you can possibly get, right? And just so you can concentrate on composition and let the camera figure all the rest of the stuff out, right? So
right.
Yeah. So
right.
I am curious why he's experimenting with manual. So let us know in TWiP Pro why you're playing. There's nothing wrong with it, obviously, especially if you're just practicing and trying to get good at manual focus. This seems like it would be an ideal push yourself type of event to do that with. But
right.
Yeah, I'm curious as to why.
Yeah, my other question to you, Michael, is you're shooting with a 50 millimeter. So are you in the ring with them? Because you're not that far away.
Oh, with a 50, yeah, he's right there. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, it's a mystery with this image.
Yeah, very cool.
All right, moving right along. Where are we at? Oh, we're almost through all of them. Wow. Mark Harris is up next. Mark says, another try adding texture to a body abstract. This time I created the mask without painting it by hand. The detail along the edge of the figure is the fine hairs on her body. This was made using 3 images. I'm enjoying experimenting with this idea. In the comments, I will add the original body abstract. Okay. Let's take a look at this one first. Look at that. Yeah, the tree line. Tree line is actually hair. Look at that. What do you think about this, Troy?
Yeah,
last time we looked at one of these, you said you were not a fan of composite. Well, you didn't say you're not a fan of it, but you said you'd never do this for commercial work.
Yeah, I don't remember what I said. I guess it's archived forever.
You're not testifying before Congress.
Yeah, yeah. We have the recording, Troy.
I don't remember what I said. I don't know.
I like the concept. I really, really like the concept. The thing that's happening for me in this image is we're losing the body. And I think what would make this really amazing to me is if we knew, or we could figure out that it was a body, even after looking at it for a time. I mean, I realized like this one is just the whole landscape, and but like if there was a belly button or a portion of a breast or something that made us think like, God, that landscape looks like a body, how crazy is that? And then like, oh wait, it is a body, and then somebody put the landscape over it, You mean
there's not enough hints in here to let you know that this is a body abstract if he hadn't told us, you mean?
Yeah, and I think that some maybe in a series could be this mysterious. But some need to be a little more obvious. But that's also the challenge that Mark has, and I have a lot of respect for you, Mark, because this is new for you, right? Like you're figuring it out. Yeah. So that's the journey. So I love the concept, though. Again, this is one of those like breaking the rules kind of thing.
Yep.
I dig it.
Let's take a look at the original shot that he put in the comments here. Here's the original body abstract here. So yeah, not a lot of detail in there anyway, but yeah, he did some magic to that. I dig it. But then I'm partial to that kind of photography, the compositing work.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, maybe leaving the foreground, the body like that, and then adding the background, sort of a Gulliver kind of thing, like the giant in the landscape. I don't know. I have no idea. This is very creative stuff. I really like where it's going. I'm glad we get to be part of the journey. I'm glad he's sharing it with us.
Totally. Yeah. Put some silhouetted people on that tree line up there with walking a camel behind him or something. All right. Very cool. All right. Moving right along. Next shot is. This is from Mark Duday. Mark, correct me if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Mark
yeah,
Duday.
Just assume we don't know how to speak.
Duday. Yeah, the ignorant American in me would say Mark Dudiet, but I'm trying to be smart and say Mark Duday. All right, he says, another shot in my home studio, testing lighting, shot with his Nikon D750 and 50 millimeter at f1.8. Let's bring that up. That's so fun. Yeah, you should definitely check out some of those. Yeah, who was it? I forgot who did that tutorial with all the colored gels on.
Jake Hicks.
Yeah, sorry, Jake. Yeah. So
yeah, I remembered his name.
I need more coffee. You're younger than I am, so whatever.
I follow him on Instagram, so I see his stuff.
Here you go. Yeah, check out Jake Hicks' tutorial. Just search on TWiP for Jake Hicks, and you'll find the interview I did with him talking about doing colored gel type stuff. I did a couple of them, actually, a couple of interviews with him, but this reminds me of that. And the colored gels, I wanted to see what I wanted to get your opinion on this, Troy. The whole idea of using colored gels and complementary colored gel colors to cancel each other out, where the gel, let me see if I can say this right. So if you gel the light source and gel the lens with complementary colors, wherever that light source hits should go normal and white, and wherever the light source does not reach stays the color of the gel that you put on the camera lens, giving you the power to make almost infinite backgrounds, because wherever your flash pops, it's going to be white, but everything else will be the color of the gel on your lens. Have you ever used that technique at all?
Yeah, you can do that. You can also gel You can also throw like a certain color on the background, and then the opposite colors or complementary colors on your strobes. I mean, there's multiple combinations. I think that Jake does an amazing job explaining it. But yes, absolutely, it's very cool. It's very nichey in the sense that, you know, it's not like a normal portrait style. Like somebody may like it for seniors or fashion or, you know, so just, you know, experiment with it and then you add your flavor to the image as you need it.
Yeah. It's like a superpower, you know, once it clicks in your head, what's happening, and you're like, oh man, I have, you know, like I said, infinite backgrounds. I can do whatever the heck I want with the background.
I used to do a lot of like corporate events and parties and things like that. And I would always set up a background and then I would have an additional set of lights on different slaves that had different colors. And then depending on the person that I brought up, you know, like if it was a fun couple or whatever, I might turn those on and then I would fire them and then I would turn them off and not fire, you know, I wouldn't fire them. And then you get sort of this, oh, it's a nice brown background. It's beautiful. And then, oh, look at you got these colors and they overlap and right behind them, it creates a hot spot or a brighter area. Yeah, it can be fun. So you can do that. It's a lot of fun.
Very cool. And any thoughts on this image in particular?
Yeah, I would say that when you're doing portraits and stuff, I mean, maybe watch your lens choice. That, you know, a 50 millimeter tends to be a wide lens for portraits, makes her elbows look really big, makes her face feel smaller, like her face is pushed back. I think this would work better with a longer lens, even the same crop. Yeah. And then I think she needs some light on the left side or camera right of her face.
It's a little bit of fill in there.
Well, I think that if you were to move your light source closer to the camera and higher a little bit and create a triangle under her left eye, you get a little Rembrandt light, and I think that would open up that side of her face, or bring in a reflector of some kind. It could really open this image up a bit.
Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he did split lighting on purpose, and that's fine, but.
All right. Well, you're the wedding and portrait photographer, who, by the way, will be at the WPPI Wedding and Portrait Photographers International Conference next month, right?
Yes.
Yep, hanging out. I've been thinking about it. I don't know if I'm going to allow this, but I may allow you to buy me a drink or two. I don't know. I'm still on the fence about it.
Nice. So nice.
I'm thinking about it. If you play your cards right, I'll let you buy me a drink.
God, I'm so lucky.
Yeah. All right. Next one is from Peter Levshin. And Peter says, Troy's asking for black and white. So he's got another one in here. Maybe we should show that one first. So here's the color version of this shot. He shot with a Sony AR7 Mark III with a 100 millimeter f2.8 lens on it. This is the chief and his son in Papua New Guinea. Let's take a look at that. Wow. Look at him. I love that little guy standing on his knee.
Yeah. No, I love the shot. I think the shot's fantastic. I really don't have anything to add to the shot itself other than.
Did you instruct him to or suggest that he try it in black and white?
I did. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's not it. Let's see. Where is it? Here it is. All right. Here's the black and white version. Yeah. I don't mind the color because the colors are fantastic that these tribesmen, these tribespeople have on their headdresses and in their faces and all that. But I see where you're going with the black and white, because now it becomes, in black and white, this image just looks completely timeless, right? Peter shot this probably within the last couple of years, and this could have been shot, 100 years ago.
Yeah, and I like the fact that in black and white you see more of the body paint, you see more of the feathers, you see the bones, the decoration. I think that the exposure and the tonality within that black and white needs to be balanced a little bit more. But I mean, they're both great images either way. Mm-hmm. For me, the black and white tells a better story. It's more timeless, but the composition, the crop. I love all of that. I like how the faces and the hands make a triangle. There's a connection there that keeps you inside the image compositionally. I think that's fantastic. Yeah, that's really important in this image. So,
and that's the word I was looking for. Timeless. Yeah, it is. Yeah, the black and white is definitely timeless. It's interesting how just color makes it not as timeless. Still a great shot, but where's the color version? I'm lost in my own flow. Okay, here's the color version. Yeah, still a great shot in color, but you're right, definitely not as timeless, right? So
Yeah.
it definitely the addition of color definitely roots us in a particular time period where black and white tends to free us, and
Right.
it could be from way back, and especially if he sepia toned it a little bit, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that wouldn't hurt.
All right, Peter Levshin, thank you, sir. All right, next shot up is from Mike Doran. Mike Doran says this image was created during the 2018 Toyota NHRA Nationals held at Sonoma Raceway. He used a Canon 1DX Mark II 70-200 f2.8L lens at ISO 200 at 1/1000th of a second, f4 at 200 millimeter. The reaction time you need to capture the bike at this juncture is very quick. The camera was set at 8 frames per second, so it's not easy to nail the bike. Practice makes perfect. And you said, so good, great timing. This is much harder than it looks, to be sure. Let's bring this up.
Yeah, right off that starting line. I mean, he's not far from that starting line. I mean, you can, if you can see the tree, you might be able to predict when they're going to launch, but you really don't know.
What's the tree is the sort of the lights that sort of blink down to let you know when to hit the throttle, right?
Yeah, and these guys are fast. I mean, they're all fast. But the bikes launch super fast, so they'll be out of your frame before you know it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've been reading up on bikes a little bit, and I've heard that they're thinking, whoever they is, but they're thinking of establishing a completely different class now for these electric motorcycles, which tend to go really, really, really fast, really quickly. So
I think that they should have a class for anything electric because it's different. It's so different. The rules are different, and the way that you generate power is different. The RPM, I mean, everything about them is different. Maybe make an unlimited class, anybody can race anything, but I think that electric is definitely gonna change how fast a human goes.
Yeah, it's a new beast. It's like saying, yeah, we've been riding these horse and buggies all year, but now we have this Model T and we're gonna race them, and you are governed by the same rules that the horse and buggy was governed by.
Right.
Yeah. No, I love this shot. Mike knows his stuff, man. Mike probably has a very muscular shutter finger, I'm gonna guess. With some calluses on it, you know.
Ninja finger.
The ninja finger. Love it. All right. Next shot, as I know you're going to love this one. This one's from Jeff again. Jeff says, the kids, after a hard day of playing the Savannah Kittens, finally rest. This is a shot with his Nikon D800, the 24-70 f2.8 lens at 44. ISO 100 at an 80th of a second. Bring this up. Anything with cats in it. Come on, Mighty Networks, bring it up. The one cat shot, and you're gonna lag on me. Come on, I want to see the shot. All right, one more chance you get. There we go. Okay, look at that. Cats rock. Look at
Makes me want to take a nap.
It does. It just looks it's so warm and comfy in there. Look at him.
Yeah. This is great. There's one dominant cat in the back left, both his legs are on the other cat and his head is on top of the other cat. His arms, that's the boss cat, right?
Exactly. I allow you other two to keep me warm.
Yeah. Now, this is a really cool shot. I mean, it's fun, and I like the abstractness of what's going on in here. It would be neat. It'd be neat to have shots and close-ups where you've got multiple paws and a face, and there's a lot of little elements inside this thing, like the tails next to the feet at the bottom right corner. It doesn't make sense, right? If you just crop out that little piece.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah, you could harvest this shot and make a couple of shots out of this.
Yeah. And I'm not going to say anything about going black and white.
Oh, good. Yeah, because that would have been unfortunate if you had brought that up. Oh, man. I love it. We have too much fun doing this.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Jeff, for the cat shot. All right, the next shot up looks like the last one. Could it be? This is from Peter Levshin. And Peter says, this is a Sony A7R II 1635 16 to 35 millimeter lens in Burma Temple. All right. What do you think?
Well, I'm not going to say it needs to be black and white. I'm not going to say that because that's not what I'm thinking.
Okay, good.
No, I really like it. No, I really do. And what I would suggest to Peter is crop out the sides. We have too much wall there that we don't need. Leave the vertical lines in there that show us that you're shooting through an opening, but maybe not that much. But definitely some dodging and burning. You know, we could do. We really need to focus on the woman on the floor, then the Buddha second, and then the rest of the room can kind of go dark. Mm-hmm. But I dig it. Yeah, I dig it. Is
it slanted or is it me? Is my desk slanted?
No, it's tilted.
Is it tilted slightly to the right a little bit?
Yeah. What it looks like is when he was standing there that he was standing slightly to the right as opposed to
in the middle.
In the middle, yeah, which we can fix prospectively. We can fix that in Lightroom or Capture One.
That's the other thing I was going to ask you. I mean, because you could, like we said before, you could fix the converging lines of those two flanking walls and make them vertical instead of leaning in or sort of trapezoidal. Would you do that to a shot like this, or do you think is it better to have it sort of leaning in and as shot?
I don't think it's better. I think it's just a matter of the story you want to tell. I like the fact that you got these converging lines because it makes me feel like this building is really, really big. Mm-hmm. And, you know, if you see that woman sitting there, let's say that she's 4 feet tall from the ground, that tells you that boot is pretty big, right? So the room's got to be pretty big. So I like the converging lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me feel like the room is really large. I think if you fixed everything, it would be too sterile. Well,
you could have if you want to make the room feel really large, you could just done like a content aware scale on that lady, scaled it down 50%. Now it's really big, right?
Yeah. I will say that if Peter, if you're thinking about entering this in competition, it would be nice if you had the top of the entire Buddhist statue, you know, the background, that little pinnacle point up there would be nice to have that. I think that would help a lot.
Yeah. Yep. Dig it though. Very cool. I want to be Peter.
Yeah. Just go with him sometime.
Peter's the most interesting man in the world. I love it.
Walter Mitty. He's a Mitty.
Yeah. All right. I think that's it. We got through all of them, man.
We did. Yeah. There's the helmet from the last one. So we made it. Woohoo.
Woo. Thank you for all the submissions. 25. Well, 26 because we did spend time. Or
yeah, you're right.
You could even say 27 because the bodyscape, there was another image in the comments that we went through.
Oh, true.
Right?
True.
So we're getting there.
Wow.
I'm going for 30 next week. Can we get to 30? Can we? Thank you, sir. Can I have another?
Yeah.
No, this is great. I love this. This is one of the highlights of my week, being able to sit down and go through these images and
I know.
talk about them. And it's an honor. So thank you, TWiP PRO Community, for allowing us to look at your images. So it's very cool. All right, man. Let's wrap this one up. We're Monday. It is Monday, January 28th of 2019 as we record this. What do you got on deck for this week?
Gee, I don't know. I have to look at my calendar. I'm trying to block all of that out. You know, I'm here. I'm just here for you. I don't know what's going on after this. I've got like 30 texts that have come in since I started this.
I flipped my phone over. I pressed the little do not disturb button on my keyboard and flipped the phone over and unplugged the Amazon Echoes whenever I record. So
yeah.
You got to do that because, you know, the universe just likes to conspire to mess up recordings like this.
Yeah. No, I know this week I'm doing a webinar for iepbv.com, which is one of the organizations that I help run and organize. So we're doing a monthly webinar with them now. So that'll be fun. I'm trying to be a little bit of a Frederick, you know. So organizing humans to be on the show, that's been very challenging. The evil laugh. Yeah.
We should go back to that cat picture, you know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Very
stuff
cool.
like that. I'm just trying to, build some things. So yeah, no weddings or anything. So
Very cool. Yeah, infrastructure, man. It's infrastructure week at the Miller household.
yeah, it's the
You know?
beginning of the year, so it's a lot of backing up data and moving files around and
Yep.
learning new software. You and I talk a lot about new stuff.
Yeah, it's all good. This is all fun. Lifelong learners, you and I, man. Lifelong
Yeah.
learners. You got it, or else it gets boring.
Self-torture. Yeah.
All right, well, cool, man. Well, thank you once again for doing this. I really appreciate it. I mean that sincerely, because you add immensely to the show, as evidenced by the comments in TWiP Pro. People love the feedback that you're giving them. So thank you so much for coming on and doing this.
You're very welcome. Very happy to be here.
All
I
right.
love the community. The community is awesome. So if you're not part of this community and you're watching this outside, you gotta go check it out. It seems like we're over advertising it, but in reality, this is the community that I've waited for a long time. There were other private communities years ago, and they went away, and the public community just doesn't work for me anymore. Too many trolls, too many haters, not the too many agendas. There's no agenda here. It's super cool. So
Yeah. This is your smoking/cigar room of a community, where everyone is welcome to come in.
this is true. Yeah,
and
this is
hang
true.
out. It's got that leathery smell in there, Fine
Yeah,
Cubans.
Come hang out with us.
All right, man. You go get to those text messages that have been blowing up your phone, and I'll talk to you a little bit later.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Take care.
All right. Here, buddy.
Peace. This is TWiP.